You were starting to talk a little bit about the Beatles and Beethoven. I think that there's another festival idea for you, Beatles and Beethoven. I think you should
Great
do that.
idea.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But they didn't just change music; they changed culture. And what do you think it is about the Beatles that has lasted this long, or the impact it's had on culture and people's connection? What do you think that is?
Well, first of all, the Beatles came around at the right time. They were the right people, and it needed to happen right there and then. That magic happened with them. And when you look back at it, people say, "Oh, I wish they stayed together longer." They stayed together for the right time. They really did. And they're so different with their magic compared to a lot of bands today go in the studio and they're in the studio for 2 months and 3 months. The Beatles would, go into a studio for a week, write the songs, record the songs, and put out an album a couple months later. I'm sure it happens times here with some artists out there, but they had just gelled together so well and made it happen. They made it happen, when you think about it. We're lucky enough to still have two Beatles with us and love them dearly, but, the four of them and their connection together, has never happened like that again with that magic. And they made a decision later on as they started going, saying, no more touring. Touring was taking a toll on them, and they understood that if we actually recorded these things, probably if we want to do the quality recordings and make it the way it should sound, we're probably not going to be able to play this live. Back then, they couldn't have played it live. They couldn't play Magical Mystery Tour live and the Sgt. Pepper album live, realistically, because the technology hadn't kept up with it playing live. Today, yes, the technology is there, but it's cool.
So cool. Absolutely. And I'm curious for you. I always ask all of my guests this. What was your, and you both can answer, what was your first concert you ever went to?
Mine was Loverboy.
Okay.
And what's your favorite
Everybody's
song? Sing it.
working for the
Come on,
weekend.
sing it.
No,
Sing it. Come on, sing the chorus. Come
you're
on.
good. No, you.
So funny.
I went to many concerts when I was younger. I was very fortunate to be able to catch some.
What was the
This
first, though?
band.
Very first one.
It was probably Aerosmith because Aerosmith was local, and they were playing around in clubs. And back then there were a lot of teenage clubs. There was a lot of teen clubs
Yeah,
back
there
then.
were.
And drop-in centers and things like that they would play. And Aerosmith was playing at a skating rink once. I remember that. But geez, so many of them, and got to see bands like T-Rex, Bang a Gong, Get It On, Get It On. I got to see David Bowie many times. I got to see Queen 9 times with Freddie Mercury singing. Amazing times. When I was 11 years old, I got to, my favorite band at the time was the Edgar Winter Group, who just put out their album, They Only Come Out at Night. And I got brought by my brothers and to see Edgar Winter, and I got to meet him. And later on in life, I booked him a few times afterwards, and we talked about me being 11 years old and seeing him. It was pretty cool.
That is super cool. That is.